Our lead story of the day is regarding the report that was just dropped by Special Counsel John Durham on the findings about the FBI's handling of the Trump-Russia probe, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, folks. But before we jump into any of that, as always, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. Your help support would be greatly appreciated. Well, folks, this was a 320-page report. I ain't reading all of it. So we got a great piece here by Luke Rosiak that says Special Counsel John Durham, who was tasked by former Attorney General Bill Barr to examine the propriety of the FBI's investigation of President Trump, released a 320-page report on Monday that found that the FBI, are you sitting down for this? Are you listening? Had no evidence to support a Trump-Russia scandal when it began its investigation and found, quote, sobering differences in how it approached the Trump probe compared to other politically sensitive investigations. Oh, isn't that just lovely? But no bias, you guys. No witch hunt here. This is insane. Trump was right. Trump was right. This was a witch hunt. Let's continue. It said the FBI immediately opened an investigation, a full investigation, based on a brief note from an Australian diplomat recounting that he had met with George Papadopoulos, a volunteer with the Trump campaign, which he mentioned that Russia might have information negative to Hillary Clinton, but it was good enough for them to open an investigation, folks. Good enough for that. But you have Joe Biden on film with the quid pro quo, but no investigations, folks. Not even batting of an eye. But you have Donald Trump here and whispers of something, not even real concrete evidence, just whispers of something, and they're opening up a full-fledged investigation, spending millions of dollars. It's insane. Well, at the time of the opening of Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI did not possess any intelligence showing that anyone associated with the Trump campaign was in contact with Russian intelligence. Anyone associated with the Trump campaign, again, was in contact with Russian intelligence officers at any point during the campaign. There was nothing. Again, there was nothing. The probe later relied on the Steele dossier, which came from a circular loop of people, how convenient, with little insight into Russia. This gets worse and worse as time goes on. Like, the more we read, it just gets way worse. Except that some of them had been on the FBI's radar for possible misconduct or ties to Russian intelligence in their own right, it said. The FBI knew it was nothing but rumor and speculation. But hey, let's open up an entire investigation about it. All about rumors and speculations. This is wild, you guys. This is wild. Way misuse of our government. Overreach of power. Going after a political opponent. But we're not a banana republic, folks. This is nuts. This is nuts. Upon receipt of unevaluated intelligence information from Australia. This is from the report. This is an exact quote. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Upon receipt of unevaluated intelligence information from Australia, the FBI swiftly opened up the Crossfire investigation. Rather, Crossfire Hurricane investigation. I gotta make sure I get that right. In particular, at the direction of Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, Deputy Assistant Director for Counterintelligence Peter Strzok, opened Crossfire Hurricane immediately. Strzok, at a minimum, had pronounced hostile feelings towards Trump. Exact quote. Yeah, at a minimum, you're damn right. That man, through those text messages, really didn't like Trump. And just through a whispering of stuff, you just open up an entire investigation. Quote, the matter was opened as a full investigation without ever having spoken to any person who provided the information. You heard that correctly. The matter was opened as a full investigation without ever speaking to anybody who provided actual information on this. Further, the FBI did so without, 1, any significant review of its own intelligence databases, 2, collection and examination of any relevant intelligence from other U.S. intelligence agencies. Oh my God. 3, interviews of witnesses essential to understand the raw information it had received. Or 4, using any of the standard analytical tools typically employed by the FBI in evaluating raw intelligence. Basically, they did something different than what they normally would have done. They didn't have really anything to go off of. So rather than feeling out things like they normally do, in which the matter of the FBI possesses in terms of what their normal procedures are, they did something totally different here with Donald Trump. I know it's not a shock to any of us. We've been yelling this for years. Donald Trump's been screaming to the skies this witch hunt, that they're going after him, that they're doing things differently, and finally it's come out there full in the open. Total exposure going on right now. Quote, had it done so, the FBI would have learned that their own experienced, listen carefully, their own experienced Russia analyst had no information about Trump being involved with Russian leaders or their officials or their leadership officials, nor were others in sensitive positions at the CIA, the NSA, and the Department of State aware of such evidence concerning the subject. Nobody had a clue. Nobody knew anything. In addition, FBI records prepared by Peter Strzok in February and March of 2017 show that at the time of the opening of Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI had no information. Again, you're going to see this time and time again in this report. No information in its holdings indicating that any time during the campaign, anyone in the Trump campaign had been in contact with any Russian intelligence officials. It's not like, oh, there was a few people sporadically or maybe one or two. Nobody. Nothing. In the 18 months leading up to the 2016 election, the FBI required to deal with a number of proposed investigations that had the potential of affecting the election. In each of those instances, the FBI moved with considerable caution. In one such matter, the FBI headquarters and department officials required defensive briefings to be provided to Clinton and other officials or candidates who appeared to be the targets of foreign interference, it said. In another, the FBI elected to end an investigation after one of its longtime and valuable CHSs went beyond what was authorized and made an improper and possibly illegal financial contributions to the Clinton campaign on behalf of a foreign entity as a precursor to a much larger donation being contemplated, but no investigations into that. Nobody's going to look under the hood under the Clintons or the Bidens or anybody. And in a third, the Clinton Foundation matter, both senior FBI and department officials placed restrictions on how those matters were to be handled, such that essentially no investigative activities occurred for months leading up to the election. How convenient. How convenient, because the Clinton's name's on it. You guys see it's the Clinton Foundation. Nobody wants to look under the hood on that. The stuff that you would find is probably head spinning. These examples are also markedly different from the FBI's actions with respect to other highly significant intelligence it received from a trusted foreign source pointing to a Clinton campaign plan to vilify Trump by tying him to Vladimir Putin so as to divert attention from her own concerns relating to her use of private email server, it said. This is coming from the report, you guys. This isn't like a reporter just writing this out of their own head. This is actual stuff that was found. Within days after opening Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI opened full investigations on 4 members. Again, no information. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. They had nothing. But they opened up investigations on 4 members of the Trump campaign team. George Papadopoulos, Carter Page, Paul Manafort, and Michael Flynn. No defensive briefing was provided, like you just saw as they attached it to the Hillary Clinton stuff, the Clinton campaign, the Clinton Foundation. They did all that stuff, but no defensive briefing was provided to Trump. Not this one. Or anyone in the campaign concerning the information received from Australia that suggested there might have been, probably, coulda, woulda, shoulda, might have been some type of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians, either prior to or after these investigations were opened, meaning the FBI was doing something different. They were handling the Trump situation, the Trump-Russia probe, differently than prior stuff they had investigated. And now it's all coming out. Instead, the FBI began working on requests to use the FISA authorities against Page and Papadopoulos. It continues, folks. We're really getting into this. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Our investigation determined that the Crossfire Hurricane investigators did not and could not corroborate any. You notice it keeps talking about nobody whatsoever, nobody that we could find had anything to do with this. Our investigation determined that the Crossfire investigators did not and could not corroborate any of the substantive allegations contained in the Steele reporting. Nor was Steele able to produce corroboration for any of the reported allegations. They couldn't produce anything. Entire witch hunt. Trump was right. This was a freaking witch hunt. And by the way, they couldn't report or give anything even when they were offered $1 million to do so. It was actually over $1 million by the FBI to give any sort of corroboration. They'll give them $1 million. Hey, you got anything? Could you make anything up for $1 million or more? Oh, you can't do it? Nope, they couldn't. The FBI learned that Steele relied primarily on a U.S.-based Russian national to collect information that ultimately formed the core of the allegations found in the reports. Oh, isn't that just lovely? Specifically, our investigation discovered that this Russian national himself had told another person that the Russian national was responsible for 80% of the intel. But so 80% of the intelligence came from one dude. And 50% of the analysis contained in the Steele dossier, which we know was just corrupt. Oh, is that just so? Basically, all the information was just completely made up, it sounds like. Which we all knew. This isn't anything new, but it's now coming out in a report that's nice to vilify our thinking beforehand. In December 2016, the FBI identified this Russian national as Steele's primary subsource. The Russian national agreed to meet with the FBI, and under the protection of immunity letter, always immunity, the FBI conducted multiple interviews of this person regarding, among other things, the information he provided to Steele, it said. The Russian national was unable to provide any... Here we go again. He was unable to provide any corroborating evidence to support the Steele allegations, and further described his interactions with his subsources as rumor and speculation again, and conversations of a casual nature. You guys must be flipping your lids right now. This is so wild. An entire bureau went after Donald Trump on nothing. And you know what the media is saying about all this? Because I was trying to get as much information as I could because this was just released not too long ago. And they're blowing it. They're just like, oh, there's no bias. Yeah, the FBI's not biased. They just did this and that. Like totally underplaying what is going on here. And hopefully you don't feel like I'm overplaying this. This is insane. If anything, I should be more animated than what I am. This is nuts. If they're doing this to Trump, what's stopping them from just fabricating information about you and throwing you in the brig? You fight. It's just rumor and speculation and conversations of casual nature. I heard it from a birdie. Oh, it's good enough for me. Let's open an entire investigation. Or I heard it from some random dude that nobody really even knows. One guy. Wow. Significant parts of the Russian national told the FBI were inconsistent with what Steele told the FBI during his prior interviews. They couldn't even match up each other's crap. They're working together on this. They couldn't even get it straight. At no time, however, was the FISC informed of these inconsistencies. Oh, that's just lovely. So again, spider web of information that's not being corroborated with one another, nor that people actually have evidence to support corroboration of whatever the hell they're spewing out there. It's what a bleep storm. What a freaking bleep storm. Moreover, notwithstanding the repeated assertions in the page FISA applications that Steele primarily subsourced was based in Russia. Again, the Russian national for many years who lived in Washington, D.C. area. We're still going. We got a couple more here. A couple more, folks. Hang in there. Fill up your copy if you haven't already, because this is huge. Folks. This literally basically vilifies Trump. Trump been saying it's a witch hunt. Okay, the Clintons, the Bidens, the Obamas, everybody's going after me. Okay, it's the witch hunt. It's the witchiest witch hunt we've ever seen. Okay, they got nothing. Insane. Trump was right. I mean, I didn't doubt the guy. I actually believed it was a witch hunt. But now, again, after years of investigations, now it's coming out. The FBI knew in January 2017 that the Russian national had been the subject of an FBI counterintelligence investigation for 4 years, from 2009 to 2011, or 3 years rather. In late 2008, the Russian national was employed by the Brookings Institute. He engaged 2 fellow employees about whether one of the employees might be willing or able in the future to provide classified information in exchange for money. Because that sounds legal. That sounds real legal. According to one employee, the Russian national believed that he, the employee, might be following a mentor into the incoming Obama administration and have access to classified information. During this exchange, the Russian national informed the employee that he had access to people who were willing to pay for classified information. Oh, it's just lovely. The FBI converted its investigation into a full investigation after the Russian national, 1, had been identified as an associate of 2 FBI counterintelligence subjects, and 2, had previous contact with the Russian embassy and known Russian intelligence officers. At that earlier time, agents had interviewed several former colleagues of this Russian national who raised concerns about the dude and the potential involvement the guy had with Russian intelligence. For example, one of the guy's colleagues who had interned at the U.S. intelligence agency informed the office that the Russian national frequently inquired about the person's knowledge of a specific Russian military matter. Folks, this is breaking. It's a 320-page report. We basically gave you a synopsis. I know it was long, but what the hell? What the hell? And like I said, the media are just like nonchalant about it. Oh, there's not much there. I mean, literally one guy said, I think it might have been like MSNBC or some left-wing outlet was like, yeah, there was no bias in the FBI. Really? No bias in the FBI? Did you not read Peter Strzok's emails or his text messages? You're telling me there's no bias? They literally started the entire investigation on nothing. On nothing. And you see it time and time again, right? They started an investigation on Donald Trump over a phone call with Zelensky. In the midst of everything that's been going on with Joe Biden for his entire time in politics, where's all the investigations at? Here's the difference, you guys. They opened up an entire investigation on Donald Trump over just, they heard a whisper of something, a whisper from one dude. And at the same time, we literally have Hunter Biden's laptops. You had Obama's emails. You had Eric Holder's emails, Attorney General of Barack Obama at the time. No investigations on that, really. Nothing ever happened to anybody. You have Hillary Clinton's server, like with actual evidence of things that were happening. She scrubbed it. She used bleach spit on the whole thing. And who the hell has a server in their bathroom anyways, in their home? But nothing happens there. No. You have Hunter Biden freaking eating Cheez-Its off the rug and snorting cocaine off a dog's ass, and nothing happens. Nothing. Joe Biden receives millions of dollars. I say the Biden family receives like $10+ million from the Chinese and the Romanians. Nothing. Insane. But there's no double standard, you guys. All smoke, no fire. Insane. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.